Numbers 21. When we left off, Aaron and Miriam had been killed. Somehow. By God. Maybe. And the Israelites were not allowed to go through the city of Edom because their leaders said, "No, I'll murder you if you try." Which means the Israelites have to find a detour. But since all the land they could go through is occupied, they'll either have to ask really nicely for safe passage, or just murder everyone in their way. Guess what they're gonna choose. When the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that Israel was coming along the road to Atharim, he attacked the Israelites and captured some of them. Then Israel made this vow to the Lord: "If you will deliver these people into our hands, we will totally destroy their cities." The Lord listened to Israel's plea and gave the Canaanites over to them. They completely destroyed them and their towns, so the place was named Hormah. Are you confused? That was a bit confusing. The Israelites couldn't go through Edom, so they took a detour through the land of Arad, and he also said no, so the Israelites asked God for help in murdering everyone who lived there. Like good Christians. And God, totally ignoring the whole "thou shalt not kill" thing, said, "Glad to be of service." God won't help them get water, but he will help them destroy other people's lives. I like how there's a special name for a place that's just utterly destroyed. But that's also weird, because it's not gonna be the only place like that. They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom. But the people grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God and against Moses and said, "Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food." We've done this before. It never ends well. Why don't any of these people learn how to save the food they like when God gives it to them? Keep a granola bar at the bottom of your bag. Eat smaller portions. Hide some quail meat in your jacket. Keep your complaints to yourself. Who the hell's gonna die this time? Answer: the whiners. The whiners are gonna die. And God's gonna do it in a way you did not see coming. Because you can complain about food to each other, but you cannot complain about it in front of the ultimate chef. You wanna guess how God's gonna kill people? Take a guess. Pause this damn video and guess right now. I dare you. I will give you points if you get it right. Okay, let's go. Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, "We sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us." So Moses prayed for the people. God sent snakes to attack his own people because they were hungry. God has the power to feed them. Instead, he decided to torture and kill them. This is the same God people worship regularly as if he's a good guy. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake and put it up on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live." So Moses made a bronze snake and put it up on a pole. Then, when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, they lived. What the hell sort of psychological warfare is this? Have you ever heard the old joke from comedian Bill Hicks where he talks about all those Christians who wear cross necklaces and asks, "Do you think when Jesus comes back, he's gonna want to see an effing cross?" The joke, obviously, is that the last thing you'd want to see is the thing that killed you. But here's God again, saying that all those people bitten by snakes, if they want to survive, they have to look at a giant statue of a snake. A false idol, if you will. Do they really need to do this? No! God could just cure them. but he's not interested in helping people. He wants to torture them. So after sending snakes to kill them, God's making them stare at a fake snake if they want to live. Sure, they'll have nightmares for life, but at least God gets a good laugh out of it. So, did everyone who got bitten by the snakes live? Because a few sentences ago, we were told many Israelites died. So either they got resurrected, or Moses only got around to making the bronze snake after there was a pile of dead bodies somewhere, and the people who got bitten later survived. By the way, later in the Bible, this snake statue will be destroyed by King Hezekiah, and nothing bad will happen to him because of it. Which sends a very mixed message about vandalizing God's property. The Israelites moved on and camped at Oboth. Then they set out from Oboth and camped in Abarim, in the wilderness that faces Moab toward the sunrise. From there, they moved on and camped in the Zered Valley. They set out from there and camped alongside the Arnon, which is in the wilderness extending into Amorite territory. The Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. That is why the book of the Wars of the Lord says Zahab in Suphah and the ravines, the Arnon and the slopes of the ravines that lead to the settlement of Ar and lie along the border of Moab. What did that just say? I have no idea. It's just gibberish. But more importantly, I can't believe none of you told me there's a separate Bible all about God's wars. It's apparently very boring, like reading an atlas, but still, maybe that's the Bible's prequel. The general thinking is this book is just not part of the canon. But if a non-canonical book gets mentioned in the canonical book, I think that makes it canon. Either that or we really need to delete the whole book of Numbers for its blasphemy. Anyway, I guess we're all done with the snake handling, because the Bible writers changed subjects very quickly on that one. From there, they continued on to Beer, the well where the Lord said to Moses, "Gather the people together, and I will give them water." Then Israel sang this song, "Spring up, O well, sing about it, about the well that the princes dug, that the nobles of the people sank, the nobles with scepters and staffs." Then they went from the wilderness to Mattanah, from Mattanah to Nahaliel, from Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley in Moab where the top of Pisgah overlooks the wasteland. First of all, their lyrics need work, and they need a better inspiration than wells. And Christian music really has not improved since then. But I guess if you're in the desert, then any kind of water is a cause for breaking out into song. Gotta have something to do between people getting murdered. But I'm glad they made it from the crappy desert to the amazing wasteland. Big improvement. Israel sent messengers to say to Sihon, king of the Amorites, "Let us pass through your country. We will not turn aside into any field or vineyard, or drink water from any well. We will travel along the king's highway until we have passed through your territory." Oh my God. Someone just let these people through so we can move on with the story. The repetition is killing me. But Sihon would not let Israel pass through his territory. He mustered his entire army and marched out into the wilderness against Israel. When he reached Jahaz, he fought with Israel. Israel, however, put him to the sword and took over his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, but only as far as the Ammonites, because their border was fortified. Israel captured all the cities of the Amorites and occupied them, including Heshbon and all its surrounding settlements. Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab and had taken from him all his land as far as the Arnon. All the Israelites needed was water and food that didn't suck. God said no, so now they're fighting territorial wars On no food or water, by the way. And for what? They're trying to get to the promised land, not random cities on the way there. Notice that Sihon didn't even bother saying no. He just responded by sending an army to kill everyone. Does it really count as being lost in the desert for 40 years if you've taken over a random city? That's like saying you went camping but stayed in a fancy RV with a kitchen and toilet and bed. You don't get to call that camping anymore. You are glamping. You are not wandering in the desert. You're taking a road trip with stops in between. Stop exaggerating the narrative, Bible. Anyway, what we really need now is the poetic retelling of all of this. That is why the poets say, "Come to Heshbon and let it be rebuilt. Let Sihon's city be restored. Fire went out from Heshbon, a blaze from the city of Sihon. It consumed Ar of Moab, the citizens of Arnon's heights. Woe to you, Moab! You are destroyed, people of Chemosh. He has given up his sons as fugitives and his daughters as captives to Sihon, king of the Amorites. But we have overthrown them. Heshbon's dominion has been destroyed all the way to Dibon. We have demolished them as far as Nophah, which extends to Medeba. So Israel settled in the land of the Amorites." Jesus Christ, the poets are worse than the songwriters. After Moses had sent spies to Jahazer, the Israelites captured its surrounding settlements and drove out the Amorites who were there. Then they turned and went up along the road toward Bashan, and Og, king of Bashan, and his whole army marched out to meet them in battle at Edrei. You know, later in the Bible, Og is considered to be a literal giant, and yet there's zero mention of that here, which strikes me as a very strange omission. The Lord said to Moses, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have delivered him into your hands, along with his whole army and his land. Do to him what you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon." So they struck him down, together with his sons and his whole army, leaving them no survivors, and they took possession of his land. Great. They murdered everyone with God's help. Onward, Christian soldiers. When did our whiny, ragtag group of Israelites turn into this massive killing machine? They still haven't eaten lunch, and yet they're just destroying entire armies on an empty stomach. And that's why you should believe in God, kids. You won't get anything you actually need, but if you're hoping to hurt other people, the Bible is always there for you.